Welcome to another flight vlog after a really long time, this time with the Scoot E190 inaugural flight to and from Krabi, where I kind of get interviewed on the red carpet before departure, take a brand spanking new aircraft through a car wash by the fire department, and reap the benefits of my celebrityhood in Krabi. Welcome to Singapore Changi Airport, everyone, home to the world-famous jewel, the world-class Singapore Airlines, and unfortunately, the really not so world-class Scoot. Now, many flight reviewers do not like flying on Scoot because it's dirty, unkempt, chaotic, cramped, but I'm very excited for our Scoot flight today because it's on the brand new Embraer E190-E2 in its entry into service, the first inaugural flight with passengers, and that's going to be from here to Krabi. And I'm very excited because it's the first non-Airbus or non-Boeing aircraft here registered in Singapore since 2000 when Silk Air retired the Fokker 70. I can't wait to get started, so let's check in. I tried to go check in on the self-check-in kiosk, but they weren't working for this flight, and I would soon find out that would be for a very good reason. Priority boarding? Priority, yeah.
On Scoot, huh? Where are you going?
Krabi.
Krabi, we have a special queue today.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, right to the end here.
Okay.
We have special queue, counter 10 and 11.
Thank you very much.
This is our
Inaugural, yeah. Hi. Good afternoon. Going to Krabi? With the special counters for check-in for the Krabi inaugural flight, priority check-in, as well as the smooth efficiency of Changi Airport, it was a very painless process, and I soon made my way over to the Terminal 1 viewing mall to look at the aircraft taxiing around in the pouring rain. Well, at this point you might be wondering, who are Embraer and why is Scoot buying the aircraft? Well, Embraer are actually an older company than Airbus by, a grand total of 1 year. But they started off by selling military aircraft to the Brazilian government, and they are Brazilian, of course, and then they expanded to propeller planes, commuter planes, and then regional jets such as the E-Jet series, the E170, 175, 190, 195. The E-Jet series was only launched in 2004, so the overall program is still quite young. And they've already got the second generation, the E2, with newer wings and newer engines that are more efficient. The E2 entered into service in 2018, and Scoot, of course, is the first one in Asia to get the E2s. And they're going to be flying, of course, today to places like Krabi, Hat Yai, Cebu, Koh Samui. But why has Scoot chosen the E190? Now, there's three main reasons for this. Number one is that Scoot needed a jet that can ply the routes with lower demand, such as the routes that I've just listed out. And instead of putting an A320 where most of the plane would go empty, they wouldn't have too much cargo to carry, they bought an E190 that is cheaper to operate and cheaper to purchase and easier to fill up, so that the A320 and all these other bigger aircraft can go on to more high-demand destinations. Second of all, the E190 is a really good aircraft to get right now. The competitor to the E190, the Airbus A220, has an order backlog stretching into years. It's very popular, and that also means it's very expensive compared to the E190. So number three is, of course, the fact that the E190 is a regional jet that allows Scoot to fly into destinations such as Koh Samui, where there's a weight limit. And for Koh Samui, the weight limit is 70 tons, the maximum weight of an aircraft that could possibly fly in there. Bangkok Airways has had a monopoly on that route with the A319, and Scoot actually used to fly to Koh Samui before it exited when it retired its A319s, and so did Silk Air. So now with the E190, Scoot can re-enter this market and give consumers a little bit more of a choice over which airline they would like to fly. I then made a quick pit stop for lunch at the Priority Pass Lounge and then headed over to the gate where our flight would be departing. Welcome everybody to the inaugural flight of the Scoot E190-E2 and the launch event that we're having here at Gate Delta 41. I'm really excited to get on board and show you the party that's going on. So let's get in.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. This looks awesome. This is really cool. They have really gone all out for this. There's even a stage here behind me, right there with the Scoot E190-E2 launch. There is a photo backdrop over here, right around the corner. And the party is going on. It's a fun environment. This is Scoot. This is really what you come to expect from Scoot. Look at that. Everyone's having fun. Not to be left behind in the pursuit of goodie bags, I also took part in the gate Q&A.
Another enthusiast that told me way more than what I'm expecting. Okay, but he said 6 hours depending on the payload and everything. Definitely, if let's say the aircraft is empty, there's no passengers, no cargo, it will go even further.
Yeah,
but
like the
average
delivery.
5 to 6 hours, you're absolutely right, and congratulations.
Thank you. Time really flew as we enjoyed the party atmosphere at the gate and admired the beautiful Scoot E190, and soon Explorer 3.0 was ready for boarding.
Scoot flight is now ready for boarding. We would like to invite passengers who are seated on row 1 and passengers who have purchased Board Me First to board now or at your convenience.
Thank you.
Please remain seated.
Really excited to get this journey going on the new Scoot E190-E2. Let's get on board.
Have a good flight, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Seat number?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
F.
So second
Thank you
row.
very much.
Hello there. Thank you very much.
First impressions of the Scoot cabin were really positive because of the bright and airy atmosphere that was fostered by the 2-2 spacious configuration, as well as the brand spanking new seats. And because this was an inaugural flight, the party atmosphere continued on board as they gave every passenger some goodies, including a postcard, some elephant pants, as well as a model of the Scoot E190 aircraft. And soon, with boarding only taking about 20 minutes due to the small load of less than 100 passengers, we were ready to go. We'll just push back. Let's get on the way. Now that we are underway, I think it's a good time to take you through the seat and all its features. It's not much. It is a low-cost carrier seat. It's a slimline, as you can see off to my side. It's nothing particularly interesting, nothing particularly special, but of course you here have a little bit of advertisements on the headrest. You have your single-piece tray table. It slides out. It doesn't. Unfortunate. It's a very fixed bare bones version. That's all right for a short flight like this. You're not going to be eating much anyway. you got a little bit of the flap, it can hold quite a bit, and some of the goodies that we got, of course. I think legroom is pretty dang good. We are on the second row, and you can see there's a lot of more space if I don't have my bags there, but my bag is quite stuffed, and I believe a lot more can go inside. Over there, you can see we are feeling the bumps now, actually. But let's continue the seat tour, and you can see a nice little gap off to the side, lots of knee room, leg room, and you can see this is really what the seat looks like if you have an empty row next to you, empty seat next to you. And this is a 2-2 configuration, of course, and everyone here is excited. Hey! And everyone's recording, so let's see. Obviously, the armrest goes up if you're traveling with a partner. If not, you can leave it down. And of course, let's test the recline feature over here. Not too bad, not too shabby amount of recline. Definitely could feel comfortable if you're here on a longer flight, but Scoot's not going to put them on too long flights just yet, so about 2 hours is where they're going to top out. One of the main downsides of this aircraft are the overhead lockers. They are smaller than the A320 or the 737, definitely smaller than the wide-body 787 that these guys have. But it's alright, you can get a smaller cabin bag in, you can get a backpack up there if you like, but these would fill up quickly, so if you don't have Scoot priority or priority boarding, then you might struggle. And up above, of course, we have one personalizable air vent per seat, you can see over there, and we also have a call button light, the flashlight, standard stuff. It's a very snazzy cabin and very different from I think what you've been used to on Scoot. And I think generally this could be a very comfortable way to fly short regional hops that this aircraft is going to do. Now, if the legroom isn't to your satisfaction on row 2 and beyond, you can of course book the bulkhead seats for a little bit extra, and it's quite affordable for the amount of legroom that you do get compared to rows 2 and beyond. Given that it is a bulkhead seat, however, the armrest cannot be lifted up, so this may not be the preferred seat for couples, although with the amount of extra legroom that you do get, I think it is definitely a worthwhile trade-off. Keep in mind, however, the bulkhead seats aren't created equal on the Scoot E190. The ones on the right have a lot more legroom than the ones on the left, so if you are booking, you might want to stay on the right side of the aircraft. Although, with the 2-2 configuration, it doesn't really matter. You either get a window seat or you get an aisle seat, and walking around the aircraft definitely gave an impression that this could be an aircraft you could get used to for longer hops as well. Now, while the view outside was glorious with the cumulonimbus clouds, the sun, that wing, and that beautiful Pratt & Whitney geared turbofan engine, it is that very engine that has been giving problems to airlines all around the world. While the version of the Pratt & Whitney geared turbofan engine that is on the E190 is a lot more mature than the ones on the A320 and A220, KLM and Widerøe have still seen a lot more maintenance action compared to what they would on older generation Embraer aircraft. Of course, only time will tell whether this will be the case for Scoot, or whether the expanded maintenance and repair facility from Pratt & Whitney in Singapore will be the key to reducing the downtime of Scoot aircraft. With the party atmosphere on board though, this was not a concern for me, as it was the inaugural flight and I was obsessed with looking at the number of cumulonimbus clouds that accompanied us along the way and gave backdrop to a spectacular day. Now, Scoot offers food on board that you can pre-purchase or buy on the spot, but when you look at the prices, especially compared to the fact that you can get these options for a lot cheaper wherever you're coming from or wherever you're going to, it becomes a little bit surprising. I mean, $15 for a hot meal plus soft drink. That is ridiculous. And look at the curry puff prices here. The old Changi curry puff that is available for about $2 outside, it's sold for $8 on board. You can also purchase a bunch of items from the Scootalog, including some bags, airplane models such as the Pikachu 787 jet that they have, as well as the Embraer E190 model itself that we got for free on this inaugural flight. With not much else to do, I decided this would be a good time to go and have a look at the onboard loom. Welcome to the E190-E2 loom, and checking it out, it's quite clean right now, of course. The standard stuff, not too fancy, not too special, but it's nice and clean. It's not extremely spacious, but it's not feeling cramped as well. So I quite like that feature of this
It's nice and clean so far. No one's really used this in the flight, and no one's really used the plane much at all, given that this is, of course, the inaugural flight. But you can see not too much headroom, and my height's about 167 cm, so that's about 5'6" if you're wondering. You can see my headroom above, not too much, not too bad. The E1 that I flew in the US is about the same size, not very large toilet, but it does the job. You're not going to feel too bad about it, especially since they're only going to be on these routes on aircraft sectors of about 2 hours.
As it was a very short sector, only 2 hours, even with the detours around the clouds, we were soon descending into Krabi. So we have begun our descent into Krabi here. We've come to the end of this short, very fine local flight of the Scoot E190-E2. And we're going to be arriving in Krabi in about 15 to 20 minutes, in my estimate. And generally summing up my thoughts on this, I think it's a great aircraft. I think even though it's a low-cost carrier, even though it's Scoot, at least right now, these seats are pristine, they're very comfortable, they're very plush, and the 2-2 configuration makes a big difference. The engines are quite quiet, although if you don't like the bassy rumbling that you might be able to hear on camera, you might want to pair it with active noise cancelling headphones or earphones, either one will do. But generally, I could see myself sitting in the seat for 5 to 6 hours, the maximum range that this aircraft has, and I'm really excited to see what Scoot is going to be doing with the E190 in terms of its routes in the future. All in all, I really enjoyed my time on board the Scoot E190 for the 2 hours that it took to get to Krabi from Singapore. It was certainly a better option than something like an A320. And of course, since this was an inaugural flight, the festivities weren't done, as we would soon find out. That is a successful inaugural flight, and how much fun was that? Look at that. Explorer 3.0. Absolutely. There we go. At the end of our journey, we have arrived here in Krabi. Got a bus gate, got a nice water cannon salute. It was really fun, and I think, yeah, the Scoot E190 is a great aircraft, and I can't wait to fly it more on other regional hops, perhaps to Koh Samui next. Krabi Airport is still a very new airport, and it doesn't have too many passenger arrivals at the same time compared to something like Bangkok Suvarnabhumi. As you can see, there were only 2 shops open and there were 3 empty shop fronts as we arrived. The baggage carousels were also empty except for our flight, so I was definitely not ready for what was to come next. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, this is one hell of a welcome. Look at that. So here we are in the hotel finally, after a long taxi ride that felt longer than the flight itself. But it's a very nice hotel. Shame it's only for 2 days, but after that we're going to be going back on the return flight at 11 p.m. at night, and we'll see how that one is without all the pomp and circumstance. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and we've just checked out of our wonderful, wonderful resort hotel here in Krabi. Dusit Thani. I would 100% recommend this if you guys are wondering where you should stay. But yeah, we're going to be checking out and we're going to be heading to the airport. Unfortunately, there's not much to do at the airport, but I'm still quite excited because today the flight home might be operated by 9 Victor Changi Hotel Bravo, which is the second delivered Scoot E190-E2, and that's called Small Yellow Fella, by the way. A little bit of a play on their bigger 787 that's called Big Yellow Fella. We'll try saying that a few times. But yeah, I'm still very excited for this flight because first of all, it gives a little bit more of an unvarnished look at what the Scoot operations with the E190 are when there is no celebration involved, etc., etc., and really to see what it is like on such a late night flight, because it's going to be departing at 11 p.m. and arriving at 2 a.m. So presumably the crew will be tired and things like that. So what is the Scoot service like? What is the Scoot hospitality like when it is so late? On the E190, they have been shuttling back and forth from different destinations. We're going to find out. So let's go. Alright, so we are here at the Krabi Airport here now. It's quite a long journey from Dusit Thani, about 45 minutes actually. And we'll be heading right inside. There's really not that much to see here. It's a very simple, small airport. It's quite new. I think this area is renovated in 2018, but it's quite clean, nice, modern, and I wish it was quiet, but you can see it's not a quiet airport. They have announcements all the time for paging passengers. But let's go in and let's get checked in. Given the number and volume of announcements, you would have expected this to be a very crowded time to depart. However, it is so ridiculously empty in here. There is just no one here. There's Fly Dubai parked at the remote stand. That's it. Our aircraft that's going to carry us back to Singapore is coming here. It's still flying in. They have constant announcements. Constant. Yes, we heard you the first 5 times. It's a very empty airport. You can go and look for the individual people yourselves if you want to. There is no one here. The passengers you're looking for aren't here. Though the terminal looks utterly deserted, there is going to be a nearly full flight. Only 7 seats empty. 105 out of 112.
Mr. Alexander Break E-Tan. Mr. Alexander Break E-Tan. Once again, taking for passenger name Mr. Alexander Break E-Tan. Mr. Alexander Break E-Tan. Passenger on flight by 5% 1482. 1482 bound on white. Please contact all air staff and departure gate number 1. Gate number 1 immediately, thank you. Once again, taking for passenger name Mr. Alexander Break E-Tan. Mr. Alexander Break E-Tan. Passenger on flight by 5% 1482 bound on white. Please contact all air staff and departure gate number 1. Gate number 1 immediately, thank you.
That Fly Dubai plane that they are paging this passenger for is at a remote stand. It doesn't have the air stairs even connected. It's not powered. There's no crew on board. I do not understand that page or really any of these pages so far.
Urination please waiting for passenger Mr.
Yes.
Alexander Berg, A-Time.
Did I just hear the Alexander Berg?
Passenger on flight Wi-Fi.
That's an unholy combination.
Mr. Alexander Berg, A-Time. Passenger on flight Wi-Fi FSAS 1482, Bar Please contact our ground staff and departure gate number 1. Gate number 1 immediately. Thank you.
Alright, so what I was gonna say is that I'm really surprised that there's a Burger King here and it's still open. Like, obviously, you know, there's a couple of stores here, but you can see the Burger King's open. Like, all of these stores, whatever they were, are closed. But Burger King's open, so I guess if you want to come here for some reason instead of like the night market, you can, and you can have dinner here. Or if you feel peckish right before your flight, because this Scoot flight that we're taking today is the last departure of the day, 2305, the last one. There's a flight Dubai that flies off 20 minutes before, which they're paging the passengers for, but the aircraft, as I said, is not powered up, no ASS connected, no idea what is going on, and why does I say that? So I guess you can't have dinner at Burger King here. This is turning out to be a very, very fun vlog. I was not expecting to have any content, except for, like, you know, we get here, we get to the gate, but things are happening here at Krabi Airport. Without much to do, we headed over to our gate where we took a bus over to our aircraft 9V-THB on its first day of service.
Hello.
Hi,
What is the number?
2A.
2A, just
Thank
up there.
you.
Hello, welcome aboard.
My friend and I were in rows 1 and 2 once again, and we were expecting a clean aircraft in its first day of service, but what we got was an unwelcome surprise. So, you know how we said Scoot aircraft should be clean when they're new? You know, it's a problem when they get older. Oh, have a look at this on the wall. Brand new aircraft put into service today, has done 5 sectors before today. Just 5 sectors. And it's already showing signs of wear and tear. I mean, obviously, you know, they probably haven't noticed it yet, but you can see, you know, the stains on the wall up there, below there. I'm not sure what kind of passengers are flying on this airline, of course, but it's kind of ridiculous. Of course, with the tight turnarounds that this aircraft operated, deep cleans can't be expected in between sectors, so we settled into our seat and got ready for our 2-hour return journey to Singapore. One thing that I noticed on this flight that I had missed out earlier was this QR code that you could scan to get the in-flight information such as the moving map, the food catalog, the items catalog, as well as some games to keep yourself entertained. However, when I tried it out, it wasn't quite working, and the only thing my phone could find was my own camera.
The return flight also gave me the opportunity to see what the recline looked like for someone in front and how much legroom that reduced for the person behind.
So one thing I've noticed with the E190, as we just began on DC, is the engines are very, very quiet, but the air conditioning is very, very loud. I think it's one of the loudest air conditioning packs that I've ever heard on any aircraft, possibly the loudest. But like, I'm not sure if the audio was picking up how loud this is, but genuinely you just hear the aircon just blasting away, and you hardly really hear the engines out, so it's all you're really hearing the aircon fans. It's an interesting quote about this aircraft. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
As I sorted through my photos from Krabi, it wasn't long before we were making our descent into Singapore, and you could see the glittering Singapore skyline in the distance. As we rolled off the runway, we got a really pleasant surprise, and one that is all too rare at Changi. We were parking at a remote stand and a bus gate.
Thank you for the flight.
Overall, the Scoot E190 experience is really excellent, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it over the A320 or 787 if you're going on short regional hops. But that's it from me for this vlog. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.